welcome to another episode of Show and Tell. In this episode, we're going to look at a film, Footloose, a Kevin Bacon classic. It's classified as a musical drama, however, I would call it more of a dancical. In musicals, the story's told through the characters' thoughts and emotions are conveyed through song. In a dancical, this is all done through dance. All the drama's going to be done with the feet. And the arms, of course. There's not many films that are like this. However, it's fairly well regarded, as it tells a story of youth culture and tradition.
I almost forgot Cindy Addis had her baby.
Released in 1984, this was written by Dean Pitchford, and starring, of course, Kevin Bacon. Footloose was a box office success, but critically kind of panned, as they called it teenaged cheese. It definitely has its cheesy moments, but let's take a look and see what this is all about. The basic story revolves around a small rural town that has outlawed dancing and other modern music, because it kind of felt like that had a corrosive effect on the local youth. We learned that this group of teens died early, and this kind of prompted this kind of extra tightness on the rules of the culture. When this new kid moves in from big city, he has several run-ins with the locals, and he also kind of challenges the local preacher to allow him to have a prom, a dance in the high school. And so, in this sense, the youth's kind of wild nature and rebellious nature was kind of pitted against the conservativeness of the preacher and the rest of the town. It's youth wilds versus pious conservatism, as Ren dances his way to change.
They're a music group.
What do they call themselves?
Oh no. Well, what about the police?
Let's go through the
What about
characters on this.
You heard them?
First, we got Ren. He's kind of a new kid in town. He's kind of a bit suspicious to everybody. They were always kind of a little bit wary of him. Okay, but he's a force of change for the community, and it's not long before he stirs up trouble. However, it's more accurate to say trouble finds him, as everyone kind of blames him for things that he doesn't typically do. The preacher plays a pivotal part in this story. He's very conservative. He generally cares for the people, and even though he doesn't want things to change much, he doesn't want things to be taken too far either, such as burning books that other people don't like. He's kind of seen as an obstacle in the show and a challenge to Ren. Then we've got the preacher's daughter. She's very rebellious at this point in her life. She's not sure who she wants to be, and she just knows that she doesn't want to be religious like the preacher. She wants to be a lot more free-spirited, but she tends to come off kind of grating in a lot of ways. She really pushes the boundaries and very rebellious into, to the point where she's just very wild. I just kind of hard to connect with her a little bit. However, we also got the preacher's wife. She's stern, but she sees her daughter's rebellion as just kind of a part of life, part of her growing up. She's loyal to her husband, but doesn't approve of the husband's kind of parenting approach, and kind of thinks it's kind of different than how she would go about it. So we have Ren's friend. He's kind of a bit of a character, kind of adds a lot of comic relief, especially through his kind of wacky dancing and things that he's trying to do. We've also got the punks. There's two reasons that they don't like Ren, though. One, Ren's just an outsider, but this seems kind of minor in the show. The main thing that kind of gets the punks and the antagonists in this show after Ren, it's mainly because the preacher's daughter was dating one of the punks. So Ren's that dynamics that she likes Ren, even though Ren's not too big into her per se, but because of that dynamics, that creates a lot of tension between him and the other teenagers in there, and they're what I'm going to call the punks, because they're always causing trouble for Ren. Then we've got Ren's family. They kind of play a minor role in this show. However, they always kind of blame Ren for causing trouble that he didn't really cause. He definitely cares for the family. You can see him caring for, so the other siblings and things. So there's an odd tension between Ren and his family. Now, the main thing in this show, there's a set of rebellions, and in small towns, different people, different kids and youth do different things. So in a big city, if you got rebellious teens and things, they'll join gangs and they'll do vandalism. They'll kind of get into that. They get into the drug stuff. In small towns, they do a little bit different things. I know I live close by some small towns, and the local youth there, when they wanted to be rebellious, they went down and started chopping trees, chopping trees at random down through the town. Seems kind of like a lot of work to me, but that for them that was very rebellious. Well, in this small town, their kind of way of being rebellious, they have these games of chicken.
Well, did she decide who the father was?
There's no question it was Dwayne Cap.
We first see the first game of chicken with the preacher's daughter girl in the trucks. They have these trucks, so they're trying to do this little play chicken with the other truck, and it gets pretty intense there. Then, of course, we have the tractor scene here where Ren and the punks started to face off in a battle chicken with the tractors. And of course, Ren's foot gets stuck, and so he actually wins the chicken because he couldn't get it out of it. Kind of got stuck into it, but it worked for him, and causes more tension again with the other teenagers, but it also puts him as a hero in other people's eyes. And then, of course, we have the bridge chicken story, which this is what causes the town to get more tight and conservative in the first place, because there was a death there dealing with the teenagers that were on this bridge and playing chicken, and then one of them went off the bridge and died. The whole story itself, though, there's a hidden game of chicken going on, as there's a tension between the preacher and Ren as they're trying to see who's going to break, as far as who's going to get the dance out or not get the dance out, and see which one flinches. Well, that's the main bit of this show. There's not a lot to it. A lot of the rest of it's just them dancing and that kind of wacky nature. There he goes. The good dances right to glory. Well, let's wrap this up. I'm going to break down the scores a little bit more than I have in the past. First, we got the acting. I give this a 2 out of 4. This is led by the young Kevin Bacon, who kind of stands out well against John Lithgow as the pastor. The other characters are okay, but they're a little mixed. They kind of, they have kind of mixed performance there. The production, again, I give it 2 out of 4. There's some good locations. They used Lehigh, Utah, a lot of that area. And back in the 80s was a lot more rural than it is today. The roller mill's still there, and for a time they still sold some muffin mixes in my hometown, so make some good muffin mixes. You can look for that if you're ever, if that floats out there. The location fits the story, because the story needed a small town with some rural aspects and places to it, but also a little bit of high school action. So I think that worked well. I don't know if the town of Lehigh ever outlawed dancing, and not that I know of. It never did. So it's not based on any true story. Just a location. Now, for the writing and editing. Unfortunately, I'm going to give this 1 out of 4 stars. I had a hard time connecting with this story. The editing left me confused most of the time. What we'd see is oftentimes we would see the effect of something, but we didn't see the cause. So I'd see a scene where, they'd be arguing with Ren, and we wouldn't know what they were arguing about or what he was upset about. And several times we'd just kind of jump into the middle of a conversation, and I was like, what? What? You're trying to backtrack, try to fill it in with your own mind, I guess, is what they were hoping. But I don't think it worked very well. For the music, I'd give that a 3 out of 4 stars. Now, this is really important for a show like this, so it's kind of critical. It needed to be contemporary, needed to be engaging, especially for the dancing scenes. And I think they did well on this. Kevin Bacon definitely had some good dancing scenes. Definitely kicked off those Sunday shoes to bust some moves. The only thing that I thought was a little bit odd is it seems that Ren likes kind of all sorts of stuff. It wasn't like there was cohesive exactly what he was really into. Just any music, it was good to Ren. He just wanted to dance, I guess. In some ways, it was a little bit hidden. He could have been a little bit more forward on his dancing. In other ways, it was like the dances always wanted to come out of him. Kind of strange. It's kind of a strange mix. Overall, I give this 2 out of 4 stars. Wasn't my favorite, but I think it has heart. Overall, the story is about that youth and traditions, kind of finding the right balance between the two. And, did they make it in here? I think they struck some balance. I think that made it interesting. Well, thanks for sticking through this one, and hopefully you'll join me on the next one.